Jim Calhoun and John Calipari are undeniable college basketball coaching legends. Emphasis on college. These two J-Cals are giants, so much so that in the 80s and 90s, with Calipari at UMass and Calhoun at UConn, the Northeast just didn't seem big enough for the two of them. And legend has it, if you stand at just the right spot on the Connecticut and Massachusetts border, you can still smell the lingering scent of beef in the air. In 1986, Jim Calhoun left his post at Northeastern and joined a UConn Husky team that had spent the decade in the bottom half of the Big East. His first season with the team did not reverse their fortune, as UConn finished the season with only 9 wins and found themselves looking up at the entire conference. The following season, Calhoun led them to a 20-14 record and an NIT championship win over Ohio State. Meanwhile, before the start of the 88-89 season, John Calipari left his assistant position at Pittsburgh and assumed head coaching duties for the first time at the helm of the UMass Minutemen. It was a UMass team with only 1 tournament appearance under their belt, and it had been over 10 years since they cracked the top 3 in their conference. At this point in time, there is no reason to suspect that Calhoun and Calipari had any plans to open up a beef market. The two teams only had 1 non-conference matchup a season, and that's if they even played at all. But just keep watching. On January 30th, 1989, UConn played gracious host to the Minutemen and spanked their pants off 104-75. 1 year later to the day, UConn made the trip to the Curry-Hicks cage in Massachusetts for a game neither coach seemed to be excited for. Calipari straight up said, "We don't have a chance against Connecticut," and added that it's a good game for them to have. If they pound us, it might help them at Providence. Calhoun responded by saying, "Oh, it's great for us. It might be one of my favorite things. That and swallowing tacks and hemorrhoids." I'm going to assume he meant having hemorrhoids and not swallowing them. Either way, it seems like these two should actually be friends. UConn won again by nearly 20 points. After the game, Calhoun had praise for a team Calipari himself claimed didn't stand a chance, saying maybe John doesn't like them, but a couple of them can come down to Stores next week and we'll dress them. He also hinted at the possibility of the UConn-UMass yearly matchup coming to an end, but Calipari was in no rush to lose a high-profile game off his schedule. Calhoun, however, didn't play on campus. He played in arenas, so he tried to move the games at UMass off campus and to the Springfield Civic Center. Calipari wouldn't budge, so Calhoun shut it down. The two New England teams that first played in 1905 would play each other no more. In the time the teams spent apart, something changed. UMass got good, like really good. At the end of that 89-90 season, UMass made the NIT for the first time in over 10 years. And the following year, they advanced to the semifinals before falling to Stanford. In 1992, UMass defeated 14th-ranked and undefeated Oklahoma on national TV.
It's over and the Minutemen are the winners.
UMass had arrived, and in the driver's seat was Coach John Calipari. That year, the Minutemen won the A-10 Conference Championship for the first time in school history. They made the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1962 and advanced to the Sweet 16 for the very first time before being eliminated at the hands of Rick Pitino and his Kentucky Wildcats. UConn, on the other hand, was eliminated by Ohio State in the second round. In an attempt to improve the following year, Coach Calhoun and UConn hoped to add in-state star Marcus Camby, but Camby looked past the team only 25 miles away from his home in Hartford and instead packed his bags and headed to UMass, much to the dismay of Calhoun. At the same time, Coach Calipari had changed his tune when it came to playing former rival UConn, stating, "We're a top 25 program. We don't need to play those games. If UConn wants to play us, they can get in touch with us." The Minutemen were good, and Calipari was making friends along the way, as evident in this exchange with Temple coach John Chaney.
You remember that when I see you, I'm gonna kick your ass.
UMass went on to win the A-10 Conference Championship again in 1994, but were eliminated from the NCAA tournament in the second round. They had reached their highest AP ranking that year, coming in at number 6 in January, and followed that up the next season by becoming the first team in New England to be given the number 1 ranking. Jim Calhoun had never lived or worked outside of New England. The region was a point of pride for him, but the king was now John Calipari. Most people had expected Calipari to only last a few years at UMass before moving on to greener pastures. Instead, Calipari plowed the dirt and grew his own damn grass, making the rest of the Northeast basketball world green with envy. In the words of Jim Calhoun, why should he leave? He makes more money than I do. It was clear that tension between the two coaches was growing, even though they no longer met on the court. In 1995, shortly before the start of an NCAA tournament that would feature both teams as 2 seeds, John Calipari's Coaches Show co-host displayed a shirt aimed at UConn's unwillingness to play them. On the front, UMass refused to lose. On the back, the outline of the state of Connecticut and the words, "You scared. What's your excuse for not playing this year?" Because even though both coaches have already expressed a lack of desire to play each other, they still prodded each other over it. As for the tournament, both teams advanced to the Elite Eight before being bounced, and no, those shirts never hit the shelves. Like two preteens, they went back and forth between who did and who didn't want to dance. Towards the end of '95, Calipari said, "Maybe we don't have anything to gain." Calhoun noted that it was John who originally wanted the game. It was anywhere, anytime, and when he gave Calipari a time and a place, according to Calhoun, Calipari took a step back. Calipari also said he did not want to be the one to coax UConn to play them, adding, "We will play anybody anywhere." Jesus Christ, just kiss already. In 1996, UMass made the Final Four for the first time in school history, an achievement that would later be vacated after reports that star Marcus Camby had received gifts from an agent. Calipari took that opportunity to point out that UConn star Ray Allen probably did the same. It was a great time to renew the rivalry. Fans had been clamoring to see these two teams play, so UMass and UConn agreed to a 4-year deal. The agreement was announced 6 years after the last time the two teams played each other, and hours after John Calipari accepted the head coaching job with the New Jersey Nets. On December 27th, UConn defeated Bruiser Flint's UMass team 64-61, while John Calipari and the Nets defeated the Indiana Pacers. UConn continued to be a successful program under Calhoun, and in 1998, when he was asked about his team's dominance over New England basketball, Calhoun was incapable of leaving Calipari out of his answer. In a bid to paint himself as a true New Englander and Calipari as an outsider, he claimed the former UMass coach never said "ka" in his life. He used to have an R. I don't have any R's at all. That proves that I belong here. This beef is more of a chowder, a beef chowder, eaten with your hands out of the center console of a Honda Civic. There's a Patriots vanity plate that just says, "kill me." While we digest, let's skip forward to 2009 and talk dollars and cents.
Considering that you're the highest paid state employee and there's a $2 billion budget deficit,
Yep.
do you think that...
Not a dime back.
Not a dime back?
Not a dime back. I'd like to be retired someday.
When the reporter referenced his $1.6 million paycheck, Calhoun's response was, "I make a lot more than that," before calling the reporter stupid and telling him to shut up. God bless America. When Calipari was asked a similar question as now Memphis Tigers head coach, his response was a bit more palatable. "We're obnoxiously paid," although I found no evidence that he then cut a check to the state. Later that year, Calhoun actually had some complimentary words for Calipari's coaching, saying, "I love the fact he puts his players in position to succeed. I have great respect for how he coaches." Then this next part, I just want to read it to you. He said, "John came from Moon Township in Pennsylvania. He said UMass was king of New England. He didn't know what Chowder was with an A. You've got to know what clam chowder is before you start saying that, especially to a guy from South Boston." So if you have not already picked this up, Jim Calhoun is from New England. Calipari's time in the NBA was cut short due to a lack of success. He then ended up back on the college level at Memphis, where he spent almost 10 years. But all this sick chowder chatter came in a lead up to a matchup between Calhoun and Calipari's new team, the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky won 64-61. It was the second win Calipari got over Calhoun, the first coming in 2007 while at Memphis, a game also played in the Garden. After 2 decades of beef, their head-to-head record was tied 2-2. They may not have played each other very much, but that didn't keep the steak from sizzling. Like Sizzler, the steakhouse. Heading into the 2011 NCAA tournament, Calipari, unprompted, reeled off a list of teams to Sports Illustrated that he wouldn't watch if they were to progress further than his Wildcats. On that list, of course, was Jim Calhoun's Huskies. He was then quoted saying, Are there times that there's envy and jealousy in our profession and in me? Yes, which is why I don't watch a lot of games. But one of these coaches was going to have to watch the other advance as the two met each other in the Final Four. Calhoun referred to the other coaches left in the tournament as my 3 sons, or my 2 sons plus my problem child. And at this point, following a win at the Maui Invitational, Calhoun held a 3-2 matchup lead. So if he wanted to be called Daddy, then Daddy he shall be called. He continued his winning ways when UConn toppled Kentucky 56-55 behind Kemba Walker's 18 points. Admirably, neither coach took it as an opportunity to sling mud at the other. Calipari stated, "We had our chance to win the game, and as a coach, that's all you can ask of these young people." Calhoun turned his focus to the national championship. The Huskies defeated Butler for their 3rd crown, all of which came under Coach Calhoun. In 2012, Jim Calhoun announced his retirement and in his old age seemed to soften a bit. After calling Calipari a bullshitter in 2014, he said he was a tolerable guy, which in New England speak means I love you. In the end, we have 2 of the greatest to ever coach the game. They were territorial and had no intentions of bowing down to anyone. In 2015, John Calipari was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, joining his pal Calhoun, who had been enshrined since 2005. Thanks for watching this episode of Beef History. Check out the other episodes and then subscribe so you don't miss future beef. It's lab grown.